Hello, Brewers fans, and welcome back to another video. It was not a good day in Milwaukee, but we're inching closer. We're inching ever so closer to a win against the Dodgers. I remain confident, and I'd like to believe Brandon does too. But let's recap Game 2 and talk about what went right, what went wrong, and all the interesting plays that happened in between. Brandon, let's first talk about the very interesting play with Sal Frelick.
Yeah, I mean that was the highlight on the night for the Brewers. In a day when Blake Snell completely shut down the offense in Game 1. It was a crazy double play. He basically robbed a home run that hit off the wall, even though it looked like he caught it, and then two force outs. Basically, and in the scorecard, it ended up being ruled as a ground out double play for Max Muncy, which, tough to hit a 400-foot ground out double play, but I guess, that's playoff baseball for you. Again, I mean, that play is really just a microcosm of who the Brewers are. I mean, a little bit of magic, obviously, and also some excellent defense. Again, it was a fun highlight on an otherwise pretty, I don't want to say boring, but a pretty mundane night for the Brewers offense, which again, credit to Blake Snell. I mean, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's been absolutely dominant recently for the Dodgers. It just, our great writer Jack Stern wrote it on the front page today, but he just completely neutered this Brewers offense. They like to be patient. They like to attack fastballs in the zone, and Blake Snell completely took advantage of that approach. So it's just one of those things where, listen, it's one game in a 7-game series. Obviously losing home field advantage really stinks, but this Dodgers team is really good. The Brewers need to adjust and get ready for Game 2 tonight.
Yeah, I think we're really kind of chipping away at the Dodgers a little bit. I always say, when you let Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts get no hits whatsoever, I think it's always a good day. Again, the fact that we lost this game is, it's water under the bridge at this point. It's a learning experience. We're going to come back for Game 2 here. It'll be really interesting. I think again we have this home field advantage. 2-1 is nothing to bat your eye about. Um, we really came back in the ninth inning at the end of the day. So it's going to be a really interesting time for us to come back. Like you said, Blake Snell was a very incredible pitcher to go up against, but I think we really held our own at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, again, obviously that ninth inning comeback, almost comeback, was impressive. Obviously, rookie Sasaki has been really excellent in that closer's role. The Brewers got to him; his control wasn't there. Obviously, they very close to completing the comeback against Blake Trinan. So again, I mean, there was positives to take away. I mean, you brought up Ohtani and Mookie Betts, neither of whom had a hit, but they combined for 4 walks. I mean, that's a very conscious decision by this Brewers pitching staff to say, hey, like we know who we're not going to get beat by obviously Freddie Freeman hit a home run, but they're not going to get beat by Ohtani on a nightly basis. They're going to challenge the other players in the Dodgers lineup to beat them, and I think that's a good call. Just in terms of, obviously the fact that the Brewers bullpen is going to have to be used a lot during this series. Obviously the starting pitching depth is not quite as good as what the Dodgers have. Game 2 is going to be a really good pitching matchup. Freddie Peralta versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Again, obviously, I would say advantage to the Brewers in that case, just because Peralta pitching at home is such a dominant force. Obviously, Yamamoto is an excellent starting pitcher as well. So again, it's probably going to be another low-scoring affair in Game 2. I will say it is real. This is probably the most important game of the series, in terms of just the trying to lengthen it from the Brewers' perspective at this point. Because I mean, we also cover the Blue Jays for another site. They went down 2-0 to the Mariners at home. Having to now try to win 2 games on the road to extend the series is a very difficult thing to do, when you're already down in a 2-0 hole. So it's really imperative that the Brewers come out, hot tonight, that they really come out focused, because having to head to LA down 2-0 is probably a death wish.
Yeah, it really is. And the Dodgers are no team to really play ball, no pun intended here, but play ball like that. But I think a thing to remember too here is that the Dodgers are a team that have scored double-digit runs in multiple games. The fact that we're keeping them such a low score, I think is a really big green flag right now. We're showing that, look, the Brewers have kept the number one seed slot for quite some time this past season. The Dodgers, look, World Series champions last year. Good for them. It's time for the Brewers to win. We held the number one seed slot for a reason at the end of the day. Our offense has been great. Our pitching has been pretty solid for the entire year. I mean, there have been slip ups, but
Yeah.
this, like you said, this is the time to really show at our home turf. And if we can't do it in this game, it's going to be a really rough time once we go to Los Angeles. But as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts going into this next game. Are you excited? What are your hopes? What did you think of that play with Sal Frelick? Yeah, let us know in the comments below. And as always, we'll let you know our thoughts.